am going to be just doing a whisper ramble. I am back and will be back to posting regularly, hopefully, as of right now. Yeah, so my camera adapter broke a couple weeks ago, and then I had gotten one from eBay. Bad idea. I just feel like sometimes you can't trust like stuff that that. But I got my tooth removed I got it removed like a couple days before Halloween, I do believe. And then, like, I still wasn't feeling any better mentally. It wasn't until, like, almost a full week into November that I realized, hey, this is the medication. And the way that I realized that is because I had accidentally not taken the right dose, or the dose that they had adjusted me to, for a couple days, and I realized that I felt like myself again. And so, yeah, I've dealt with mental health issues as well as physical health issues pretty much my entire life. And I can honestly say that your mental health, not only does it have a genuine impact on your physical health, but just the way a mental illness can affect you, and just mental health stuff in general, can be just as debilitating as a physical illness. I know that for sure. I mean, the lowest points that I've ever been at, you know what I mean, were definitely, and that's the thing, like, I don't know if this makes sense, I don't really know how to word it, but I'm sure a lot of people will probably agree with this. The worst part of something, the worst part of anything, is always how it affects you mentally, if that makes sense. Like, for me, even with my chronic health issues, it's not the symptoms that I'm feeling physically that are the most debilitating, it's the effect that they have on my mental health. Chronic illness leaves so many people very isolated, especially because, you know, we live in a very judgmental society, and so a lot of the times it's hard to keep friends. And, you know, like I said, I just feel like the toll that it takes on your mind is the worst part of it. Like, I remember I started getting super, super sick when I was around 16, 17, and although my symptoms were debilitating, it was the way that my symptoms fucked with my head that was really the worst part about it. And, like, feeling like I was genuinely, like, screwed, and I was never gonna get an answer, and, like, my life was over, and all of those things. Like, just, that was the hardest part. Which I've been reflecting a lot on that lately, or a little bit on that lately, because I just came up on my 2-year anniversary since getting diagnosed with MCAS. Technically, I wasn't diagnosed with MCAS till May, but, like, officially diagnosed. But when I saw that allergist, that appointment, he said that my symptoms were pretty conclusive know anything about MCAS causing neurological symptoms at the time. I genuinely had no idea. The thing is like, I also have POTS with this, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and oftentimes MCAS comes secondary to POTS or vice versa. Like they just go together. And so I had heard of MCAS for many years, especially because I'm on different support groups for POTS and all of that, and people would frequently talk about MCAS, and I just never thought that it would be that. There was one particular symptom that I missed that ended up being what ultimately led me to getting things figured out, okay? So for many years of my life, even before I started getting super sick, would randomly like broke out in hives, and I never thought anything of it because, in general, there's kind of just, people just say, if you're nervous or you're anxious, you can get hives. So I always just thought that because I am such a high-strung person that's always anxious, that was why. But I never connected the dots of how bad my hives would get while I was having these symptoms. It wasn't until my PCP, my former PCP, who I hadn't even been seeing for that long at the time, had actually asked me about it. It was a couple weeks after that and this was a defining moment for me. It's gonna sound weird, but I essentially did figure out what was wrong with me. And like I said, that can sound crazy to some people, but I already knew of MCAS, and I already knew that that was a large probability. I knew that I was gonna end up with it eventually, more than likely. But I just didn't know that MCAS could cause neurological symptoms, so I didn't think that's what it was. And plus, you also have to take into consideration that when it comes to anaphylactic reactions, there's not a lot of education on the spectrum of it, because an anaphylactic reaction and anaphylactic shock is two completely different things. Your throat does not have to be closing for you to be having an anaphylactic reaction. And I was having anaphylactic reactions, and that anaphylaxis can feel different for a lot of people. Like, some people will throw up from it, some people won't, some people, they get chest pain, some people don't. Like, it's not a one size fits all, like it's taught to be, if that makes sense. The only way you're gonna know that is if you have MCAS, if you know someone with MCAS, or if you are a doctor that treats MCAS, which even like most allergists don't. So I'm very lucky to have been able to find a allergist that was educated on that. But anyway, the defining moment was I had drank a coffee drink, and about 15 minutes later I was making a video, and I had noticed that my face was so swollen that I looked like I had one of those filters on, like Snapchat filters, he is very prone to like making people feel stupid, if that makes sense. Like, you know, those kind of doctors that just, they don't, like, they just have this attitude that like they know everything and the patients don't know anything, and then if they do, it's like they look down on you for it, because it's like, how do you know that? But so like he was questioning me about it, but he ultimately did end up, you know, putting in the referral for me to see the allergist. And by that point, like, I had absolutely no expectations whatsoever. Like, I was so burnt out from just the entire process that I was like, let's just get this thing over with. And that ended up being the day that ultimately changed everything, because I was able to get a diagnosis and, you know, start treatment and all that. And none of that would have happened without my parents advocating for me. First of all, I have a very hard time advocating for myself. I kind of shut down at appointments just because of like trauma with doctors, and I'm also just very awkward. So, but if it wasn't for my parents advocating for me, and also God gets all the credit for this, because if it wasn't for God, it would have never been possible to get a diagnosis or see that doctor or figure things out. None of it would have been possible. So, thank you, Jesus, and a huge thank you to my parents for advocating for me. I felt so guilty because I could see how defeated they felt, you know, not really being able to help me. And I just kept getting worse. Like, before I got diagnosed, like, I was genuinely getting to the point where it was hard to even get up. You know what I mean? So, that was quite the journey, and it's always awkward explaining MCAS to people because they don't really understand. Like, I'm not allergic to anything in specific. It's that my body produces too many, like, allergy cells. Basically, it's hard to explain, but my body produces too many allergy cells. So my inflammatory response is constantly being activated by random things, and that will trigger an anaphylactic reaction, even though I'm not allergic to it. So I can, you know, have an anaphylactic reaction to something one time and not the other. It just depends on like how high things are at that moment. And people always end up being like, oh, well, like, what are you allergic to then? And I'm like I understand that it's hard to, you know, get, but at the same time, like, I just feel like people don't listen sometimes. Like, pay attention to what I'm explaining. But yeah, I spent way it's been on my mind a lot just because it does get lonely when you know you have people, but they don't want anything to do with you, if that makes sense. And, my mom has health issues, I have health issues, my grandparents are getting older, and when we need help with things, I just think about the fact that they should be around and they're not. And I it hurts. It genuinely does hurt. It hurts all of us in different ways. I know for a fact it hurts them probably way more than it hurts me because those are people that something that happened 13 years ago, and they're still holding on to this anger and everything to this day. I don't understand it. I could reach out and say, I really genuinely want to have a relationship with my cousins. Could we work something out? And I guarantee you, I wouldn't get a response. And sometimes I do consider saying something like that just to prove to myself, to get that closure that like it's not gonna happen, because part of me has a smidge of hope that maybe if I tried to communicate with them instead of just telling them how much they've hurt me, that maybe they would be willing to let me see them. But I know that's not the case. But anyway, I wanted this to be a longer whisper ramble just because I know some people like long whisper rambles, and plus, like, I don't know, I just want to have a long whisper ramble. Also, I want to just give a shout out to Yana ASMR, Yana ASMR, Yana ASMR, YONNA ASMR. I absolutely love her content. She makes long whisper rambles as well. Like, not every single one of her whisper rambles is super long, but she has, like, her channel is mostly whisper rambles, and I love that because I feel like not a lot of ASMR artists do just pure whisper rambles that consistently, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I just love that she does do a lot of whisper rambles because I love to, like, just keep up with the content creators that I watch and all of that. And she's literally hilarious and super down to earth and just unapologetically herself, and I love her. Like, she honestly inspires me a lot and is part of the reason why I started getting, or is a huge reason why I started getting motivated to film again. I genuinely mean that. So, I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I need to go to bed. I literally still have to wash my makeup off, and my eyes are so irritated because I don't know why, but I kept messing up my makeup today, and I kept having to do it over and over and over and over and over and over again, and my skin is also so bad right now. I am like covered in acne. I haven't had acne this bad, and like, I know you can't tell because I got a lot of makeup on, but I am just so broke out in pimples everywhere, and it is just not it. It's not it. So I need to wipe my makeup off and floss my teeth. Literally, the sun comes up here at like 4:45. I'm pretty sure it's 4:30 or something like that. So by the time I go to bed, like, the sun's coming up, and it's so annoying because I am not a morning person at all. So obviously, the sun coming up when I'm about to go to bed, like, that just messes with my head because it's like, it's confusing. Like, why is the sun coming up when I'm going to bed? And literally, I feel like people who get up at choose to get up at 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning when they don't have to. Like, I'm sorry, but I cannot associate with you. Like, it's so unrealistic to be like, yeah, I get up at the butt crack of dawn. I, drink my green tea or whatever the crap that is, and I can't with it. I'm not a morning person, but I don't understand why I don't understand why anyone would choose to get up that early. Like, genuinely, I feel like it's not even morning until at least 5:30. Like, I still consider 4:30 and 5 o'clock at nighttime. Like, is that just me because I'm on a weird schedule? Or, like, genuinely, I've never in my life considered that morning yet. Yeah, no,